Hey, I'm back again with another daily update, and as it's been Sunday today, I've been mainly planning the week ahead, reviewing the week that's just been, and this is a sort of a habit I've been getting into a lot more of recently, specifically around the speaking, but with just kind of the general, going over the journaling in particular. That's been, since I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, it's been a good thing to bring it all home and to go back over some of the things that I've been writing about for the previous 7 days, and almost summarizing it and looking at which of those things I'm going to take forward, because there are inevitably things that I've written down, I think, oh, that's a good idea, and then hadn't done anything about. So that's allowed me to bring that into, right, what am I actually going to do about that? I also just thought, as I was sitting down today, that the card thing, this is a habit I've started to build up over the last probably 2 or 3 months. And I did a couple of videos a while back, maybe a month or so ago, 3-4 weeks ago, talking about a particular move I was trying to master. I did it and completely kind of fudged it and I made a hash of it. And then I said, right, in 2 days I'm going to be able to do this. And 2 days later I did the video, and it was better. I managed to do it. I got my way through it, but it wasn't anywhere near perfect. And though it still isn't perfect, I thought I'd give you a kind of an update now if you have been following this, and I'll track back to those other 2 videos so you can compare and contrast. But I want to show you kind of how things have been progressing. So I'm just going to tilt this down. It's this kind of weird move. It's called the triple cut revolution cut, triple revolution cut. That bit there was the bit that had been causing me all the problems. And there we go, it's done. So let me just kind of do that one more time, because I think it's really interesting now as I do this, when I flick off a few cards from here and spin those around, that bit there, and sliding them on top, that was just impossible. That's still a little bit messy, bringing that around and into the top there, but I've just kept on going with it. I'm just doing a few minutes here and there. Every day I'm doing the cards. I'd say every day I'm doing that particular move just a few times, playing around with some of the other flourishes, the other ideas, the other kind of tutorials that I've been watching on YouTube. I haven't been quite as intense with it recently, but it is now a habit. Like I said, I've got my packs of cards here. I've got cards over at my workstation over there. I've got a pack of cards by my bed, a pack of cards in my bag, and I'm just doing it. I'm just getting on and doing it whenever I find myself with a few spare minutes. But anyway, I just want to kind of check in and say this is how it's going, and I feel like I'm kind of making progress with a few other moves and sleight of hand things as well. A long way from performance level, although I am still very tempted to kind of bring in some cardistry, card magic to any of the talks that I give in the future. But anyway, talking of that, was when I first said that was one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to bring in some card magic to all the talks. Then I gave a talk and didn't do it. And the talk that I gave soon after saying that was the Charles Tyrwhitt talk, which was probably about a month ago or so, maybe a little more, maybe 5 weeks or so ago. And just clear that message. And I got the video back from that, and I meant to kind of talk about this yesterday, but I didn't get it. I skipped over it. But I got the video of me presenting back, and I was sort of not worrying about it, but I was. I didn't really want to watch it back. I didn't really want to do it because, I mean, who likes watching themselves on video, right? It's especially when they're doing something and they're kind of you're trying to evaluate yourself, critique yourself. But I know how powerful it can be, and I've done it before. But I don't normally get videos of my talks back. So I decided, right, I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to do that. I'm going to watch that video and I'm going to go through. I'm going to evaluate it. I'm going to come up with some of the things that I hadn't noticed during the talk, because I wrote down a load of notes afterwards. And see if there's anything else that I can pick up on, things that I can learn. Because normally when you give a talk, people will just pat you on the back and say, "Yeah, well done. That was excellent." At least I like to think that they'd say that. But actually, that's not very helpful when it comes to growing. You have to be able to self-evaluate and take critical evaluation from other people as well. So in the absence of critical evaluation from others, it's down to me to watch myself when I have the opportunity. So I kind of psyched myself up to doing this, and I went to try to download the MP4 from the WeTransfer file, and it wouldn't flipping download. So I was like, oh, I've got myself all ready to watch this in the right sort of frame of mind, got the space, got the time, got the opportunity, and I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to try to figure out what's going on there and commit to doing that tomorrow. But one thing I did talk about yesterday in the video was this whole idea of this story that I've been kind of carrying around, and I was kind of darting all over the place with today's check-in. More to say on us than a usual Sunday. I'm aware of that. I talked a little bit about this story and belief that I've been. It's been kind of an overspill from when I was a personal trainer and doing a lot of boot camps where every day was different. And this is kind of the story. So every day was different. I'd have clients here, or I'd have a boot camp session there. Subsequently, I'd find it very hard to kind of get into a routine and say, right, well, at 9 o'clock I do this, then at 10 o'clock I do that, then at 11 o'clock I do that. And I could just never do that because of this constantly changing, every day was different. And so that's always been my story, that I can't create routine. I can't create a system whereby I'm doing the same sort of things, making sure I'm getting these important tasks done every day, because my routine is out the window every day. But then I realized yesterday, I think it was, when I was doing some journaling, that actually that's not true anymore, because I'm not doing personal training anymore. I'm not doing boot camps anymore. And most days now, actually, just like I spoke about last week, earlier in the week, most days are completely open. Unless I have coaching calls in, I do a few coaching calls still each week. I have a few meetings each week. But most of the time, I will have this fairly uninterrupted span of time where I can just get on with doing the work. So there's no reason now why I can't largely create a bit more structure and put in these big time blocks where I just focus and I don't get distracted by all the other things that I'd go on into my Facebook groups all day, every day. I love being in there, but it's although it's an important part of what I do, it's not necessarily the most productive part. It certainly doesn't allow me to do all the other things I need to do. So I need to kind of compartmentalize doing that. And it was a real sort of revelation yesterday, but real simple thing. But because I've been telling myself this story, I can't get structure, I can't get routine. It was a hang up from previous years where that was absolutely the case. That was absolutely true, whereas it isn't anymore. So that was a kind of really interesting observation. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about on today's video update is that I followed on and completed the work, the Richard Koch exercise that I mentioned in yesterday's video, and I talked about it, and it was called, the name's gone out of my mind again. I think it's like Yesterday's Road, or I can't remember what it is. Anyway, point is, you imagine yourself at the point where you wanted to have completed your goal and get into the state where you're feeling very excited, very happy. The opposite of that. You haven't completed it. That's where you wanted to complete it by, but you failed to do it. And then you look back and say, if only I had ... I would have achieved my goal. But then the flip side of that is you go, if you get to that place in the future in your mind, you take yourself forwards and you have achieved it, you feel very elated, you feel very happy, all the emotions that you'd feel if you'd actually achieved and accomplished that goal. And you say to yourself, or you write down, which is what I did, I achieved my goal because I did ... So, or because I did ... I achieved my goal. And so I did this, and I only wrote down 2 or 3 things, but one of them was this really, really, I think is going to be a real potential game changer for me, especially when it comes to keeping my focus. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, because I've got to put it into practice tomorrow. I've got to put it into action, and it involves another person. So I'm going to reach out to this other person tomorrow. I'm very sure he'll agree to come aboard with this idea. But it was something that I think could be really, really powerful for me. And when I'll share it tomorrow. I think it'll be useful for everybody. I mean, Richard Koch, he's a pretty solid guy when it comes to these sorts of things. Pretty successful. So it's not my idea, but kind of I'm looking at how I can use this and put this into practice for my own in my own situation, and I'm very sure that it'll be relevant to others as well. So I'll come back tomorrow once I've essentially completed that one thing, which will go on for the next 18 months, by the way. It's not like a do-it-once thing. It's something that sets in motion something to keep me under pressure for the next 18 months. And I'll explain more about what that is tomorrow in the daily update. I have gone through several things tonight, and I'll finish that there, and I'll check in again tomorrow. I've got a fairly full day tomorrow again, lots of meetings. I'm on the school run again, so I've got to juggle all the kind of the kids stuff and the business stuff, and I've got a briefing call tomorrow as well, because I'll talk more about this tomorrow, because I've got this kind of event at the weekend, this comparing, at this charity event in London. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I've got the briefing call tomorrow, so I'll really focus my update on that when I check in tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video, leave a comment for me, and I will be back again with another update tomorrow. Bye for now.